So what we're going to do is we're going to take our half loin right here. I'm going to trim it up a bit. There's a lot of excess fat on this side. I'm just going to trim it up real quick. I don't want a whole lot of fat content like this, especially this cap fat. And I will get this trimmed up and we'll be right back with you. All right, so I've got it trimmed up as much as I want to trim it up. I've got it cut into 3 sections here just because I had to try to get some of that intermuscular fat layer out of there because it was really thick. And now I'm just going to take and I'm going to cut these into smaller pieces. So I think I'll cut each one of these in half and then I'll cut off small slices. Not sure if I'm going to break out my slicer for that or not because this is going to be a relatively small project. So I'm going to get after this and then we'll cut back in when it's done so we don't bore you to death. All right, you can see we've got our pork loin there is all sliced up. I went ahead and sliced it up. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to prepare our bags. I've got some 1 gallon size Ziploc bags or freezer bags that we're going to divide these into, and then we're going to go ahead and start preparing our marinades one at a time. I think we're going to do 3 different ones today. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump on into that. All right, so for part of the recipe in these blends today, I know at least for the sweet teriyaki that I've got right here, I'm going to use some root beer, Barks root beer. Now, I've never used Barks root beer in any of my jerkies that I've done. I have done beef jerky. I have done deer jerky. This is the first time I've ever done pork jerky, so this is a total experiment. I went on to look for the different seasonings and ingredients that I, would put together for making a marinade for my jerky. And the prices are so ridiculous in many cases that I came to the conclusion that buying some bottles of actual sauce or marinade that have got ingredients in it that I would use, and it was actually cheaper to do that, and this being an experiment, this is the route that I'm going to go. Before, on my other jerkies, I really like how it turns out. I have not, that I can think of, maybe once before, a few years ago, I might have used mango habanero. I'm going to give it a try again today. I like the flavor of it. It's good. It does have some good heat to it. And unfortunately, I am so angry at Walmart and the other stores in my area because of the fact that Sweet Baby Ray's has a sweet red chili marinade that I used to use, and it was my absolute favorite, and I cannot find it anywhere in our area anymore. So I had went to a Frank's Red Hot brand that was their red chili. It was more potent with the garlic, but it was still okay. It was still all right. I preferred the Sweet Baby Ray's over it, but they didn't have it anymore in the Sweet Baby Ray's. So Frank's Red Hot in our area had the red chili. Well, unfortunately now I can no longer find the Frank's Red Hot red chili anymore. So they had this one, the General Tao, however you say it. They had that one, and I thought I'm going to try that. So for that bag, I do have a very small batch for that one because that one is completely unknown to me. And so anyway, let's go ahead and jump into making our marinade. So I'm not using exact amounts right now because, like I said, this is an experiment. So I'm going to put a little bit of my Barks root beer in there. One of the reasons I'm doing that is I want to thin this out because especially this one here, is a pretty thick marinade. And in times in the past that I've used it, it's always been really thick, and I thought I need to kind of dilute it down, but I wanted to have some good depth, some good flavor, some molasses. So I absolutely love Barks root beer. All right, now let me give this bottle a good sling so I can get some more stuff out of there. I have also used this sweet teriyaki, the Sweet Baby Ray's brand. I have also used it on chicken wings before, on chicken quarters, and on spatchcock chicken. It turns out really good. Love that stuff. All right, let's give this stuff a good stir. Whisk it all together here. Oh, dadgum. That's actually really good. I have never done that before with the root beer in that before. Dadgum, that's good. Son of a gun. Other finger. Oh, dadgum. Wow, that is good stuff right there. All right, so I've got my bag of pork jerky, or my slices of my tenderloin, or of the pork loin that I'm going to use. Folks, I'm going to be honest with you. I was going to put some Worcestershire sauce in there with it, and I really had to spend some time debating on it because the flavor just between the Barks root beer and that sweet teriyaki Baby Ray's brand, that gum, that is so good. And I'm just like, you know what? I need to stick with my saying, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. So I ain't going to do a doggone thing to it because that gum, that's good. That gum, that dog will hunt right there. All right. We're going to pour this in there. Hopefully we don't make a mess. If we do, it's all my dog Flash's fault. We just blame it on him. Now we're just going to kind of waller that around a little bit. Get all that stuff good and incorporated. Let's get some of that air out of there. All right, on to marinade number 2. And we're going to be using the Sweet Baby Ray's Mango Habanero for the next one. Not sure how this one's going to pan out because I don't know why I use that whole bottle because that batch is not as big, but it'll be okay. Plenty of marinade for everybody. It sure does smell good. Don't know how it's going to taste. We're fixing to find out. What the heck, Jack? That gum, that's good. Now, I've used Barks root beer on some of my pulled pork and stuff like that, but man, I knew I really liked Barks root beer for some reason. All right. We're gonna leave it right there. That gum. That gum, old boy, that is good right there, old son. I'll tell you what. Flash, I wish I could share this with you, old buddy. But it ain't gonna be happening. Let's get this one poured down in there. Oop. All right, so this little tiny batch here is what we're going to use the general sauce on by Frank's Red Hot because I've not ever used it for anything before, and I didn't want to make a equal batch to either of the other ones, and it turned out bad. So anyway, and we ain't going to use a whole bottle. I did taste this a while ago. It is pretty good, actually. Come on now. Get on out of there. We'll try starting with about that much. Oh, Cracker Jack, son. I think maybe just a little bit more root beer, maybe. Get that down in there. Now you can use these marinades just like they already are, these sauces. You don't have to add anything else to them. I just wanted some kind of a depth and boldness with molasses that Barks root beer has. And so you can use those just with those marinades or sauces. And at least ways I know with the sweet teriyaki, because I've used it just by itself before and didn't thin it down. And you could do the same with the mango habanero and of course the general sauce right there. But you know what? And you don't have to use Bart's root beer if you want to thin it out. You use what you like to use. You do what you do. You know what you and your family like and your friends, and so you just go with what works for you. All right, I'm gonna take and put this in the fridge with the other ones, and we will cut back in when we are ready to pull them out of the refrigerator and get the smoker rolling. All right, so I'm getting a little anxious. It is, let's see if I can get my Fitbit to work here. It's 1:51 in the afternoon today. It's obviously been in there for a number of hours that they've been marinating. I decided to go ahead and take the smallest batch, that General sauce, and we're going to go ahead and put it in the smoker. We're going to use baby today because Jackie, I found out, does not have all the components to it, but I love using baby. This is my favorite smoker, so we're going to get these put in here real quick. It's hard doing this when you don't have a camera person. All right. There we go. Now I've got this just on a smoke setting, so it's going to fluctuate between about 120 to about 145 degrees, and I'm just going to check on it periodically. All right, so I've been letting it do just a heavy smoke bath for a little over 20 minutes, and let's see, it's getting some good smoke color to it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat up from my smoke setting. I'm going to go ahead and kick it up. For pork, usually, well, most of my jerkies, I end up smoking them between 160 and 180 degrees. So we're going to go ahead and kick it up and let it start doing its thing, and we'll check back a little bit later. All right, we're back out here this morning the next day. I just put these here in the smoker, put these in baby. This is the sweet teriyaki blend that we made. And this here is the mango habanero. So we're just gonna let them go. They're smoking between, well, these here are smoking at about 170, 165, 170. And the other ones are smoking at about, right now at about 120. And I'll crank them up here in a little bit because I want them to have a really good smoke bath. Baby's got a really good smoke setting on it, so I can do things with a heavy smoke. My other smokers don't have that option, so we're just going to roll with it. All right, we're just going to check on them. They've been in for a little over an hour. I just did turn the heat up to 175 on these. Looking good. They got some good smoke color to them. Let's jump over and check on the other ones. These here are looking good too. All right, we'll just let them keep on going. Pies and cakes sweet as a summer breeze. Her love baked into every slice with ease. Billy smokes the finest meats in town. His wife's desserts never let you down. Together they rise like the morning sun, cooking up a life where the battle's won. Whiskey on the porch, stars in the sky, the smokers hum and the pie sweet cry. They ain't living by no fancy rules. All right, guys, my first time doing pork jerky is done. I just pulled the last two batches out of the smokers. This one on this side over here is the sweet teriyaki blend that we mixed up. This one over here is the mango habanero blend that we mixed up. And of course, you saw earlier in the other video, or in this video, the General's sauce blend that we made up is already done. It was a real small batch. But anyways, these turned out really good. I'm surprised at how more tender these have turned out than my normal my beef jerky and deer jerky that I do, because I've smoked them same temperature and things like that. So I don't know. Anyways, it's really good, and I'm going to do a lot more of it. So until we see y'all on the next video, don't be afraid to try something new. Don't be afraid to try something old. And remember, just get your smoke on.